This video is going to contain heavy spoilers for Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 16 is the game that should have saved Square Enix.
Actually, Square Enix doesn't need saving. It's doing really...
Shush. Right, please, it's a really good title. Final Fantasy 16 should have been great. It wanted to combine Final Fantasy, with Game of Thrones and Devil May Cry. This should have worked, but it didn't. Why? This video is going to explain the wrongs of 16, why it was so tragic that it failed, and why this is one of the best games that I have ever played. The start of 16, the demo portion of the game, is widely accepted as one of the best intros to a game since forever. It really made you feel connected to the characters in such a small amount of time. It made you feel so connected that when everyone fucking dies, it doesn't just feel like a standard tragic backstory trope. No, it feels like a personal robbery that leaves you staring at a black screen for 10 minutes, fully convinced that you are gonna witness the birth of the greatest RPG ever made. But then you realize this game isn't an RPG, it's an action game. So why is this an issue? Okay, well first it was advertised as an RPG, and then we got something completely different. We didn't get an RPG, we got an action game instead. And me personally, bro, I love action games, but where FF falls short is that it didn't know what it wanted to be. Final Fantasy 16 is a game that is constantly at war with its own identity. Think of it as a game that has 3 different blood types together, and they're all rejecting each other simultaneously. Suzuki, the combat director, clearly wanted to make a high-skill, technical action game like Devil May Cry. But because it's Final Fantasy, the developers felt they had to include RPG systems like leveling, gear, and crafting. And the result of this made the RPG system feel so shallow that they actually dilute the action. In a real RPG, your gear changes how you play. In 16, you just get, plus 5 stat bonus, have fun with that. And that sucks because Square Enix brought Suzuki to make this game feel good. And on a mechanical level, it is. Clive is responsive, combos feel good, and Torgal is so fucking cute. I love this guy. But here's the problem. The combat has the depth of an ocean, but the difficulty of a puddle.
Oh my god, I'm actually Shakespeare. Holy shit.
Like, okay, look at this guy. He's doing cool shit, right? But when you're fighting a little fire elemental and you hit it with a fire spell, it should be a mistake. Not a 16 though, it's just damage. Raise the difficulty. Guess what? Final Fantasy mode, the hard mode, is locked behind completing the game first. By the time you get to the real challenge, you've already spent 50 hours mashing buttons through every single mob you see. But then you have the story. It starts as a political drama about slavery, resource scarcity, and the cost of Aether in the world. Then it ends by, oh, yeah, you killed Ultima. That's fucking cool. The shift is so jarring. You go from a story about how cruel humans can be to a story about this blue guy in a really cool spaceship. But to be fair though, I think that's like every Final Fantasy. And because it tries to please everyone, it never fully commits to being one great thing. It's too simple for hardcore action fans, it's too shallow for hardcore RPG fans, and it went completely south for the political drama fans. And I still love this game with all my heart. I know all of its flaws, I see it clearly, and yet I still love it. And all of that is because of the voice acting, the characters, the boss fights, and music. Ben Starr brought Clive to life, because Clive is a man carrying a level of trauma and grief that feels heavy. Ben Starr made sure you can hear it in the rasp of his voice, the way it breaks when he talks to Joshua, and the sheer rage when he finally faces the people who ruined his life. He made Clive feel human, and it shows in every single line he ever recorded. And Clive is the definition of healthy masculinity. The way he carries himself with honor, kindness, and gentleness. He understood how to express his emotions, and that is just so refreshing to see. It genuinely makes a person want to be like Clive. And that's one part that Square Enix understood and did phenomenally. And what they also understood is that getting Soken to do the music was the best decision they could ever make. Find the Flame and The Way are just so beautiful and exhilarating to listen to. Soken knows music. He's a master at knowing what songs to create to make the scenes 10 times more impactful. And that's so evident when you're fighting Bahamut. The transition from a ground duel to shooting a dragon in space made me appreciate the sheer audacity the developers had to put that much effort into a single encounter. Same thing with Titan. When Clive opens the door of the room, we see Kupka being delusional. Then bam, we're destroying mountains. They succeeded in the cinematography aspect of Final Fantasy 16, and all that together is what really made me fall in love with this game. And if that still made you feel like it wasn't worth it because you didn't like the gameplay combat, you didn't like the RPG system, then I highly suggest playing this game with mods. The community surprised me with the game-changing mods that they made for 16. The two prime examples of this is the Iconic Equipment mod and Logos Unleashed. Iconic Equipment gives each sword in the game a unique buff, like improves limit break enhancements, give Torgal a higher attack potency, and so much more. Like, I'm scrolling right now and look how much this mod has added. And Locus Unleashed gives you a brand new combo system, new spells, and tons of more buttons to press. And as you can see, same thing as Iconic Equipment, look how much was added. I've personally sat through an entire playthrough of these mods and it really solved a lot of issues and gripes I had with this game. But there is one big issue that FF fans critique about this game, that 16 is not a Final Fantasy. Oh, okay. To understand this POV, we need to know what is a Final Fantasy in the first place. And the answer is that Final Fantasy is a game where you have a party with playable characters, which 16 does not have, and unique builds, which again, 16 doesn't have unless you add mods, and a unique world with Moogles, Icons, Primals, and Chocobos, which 16 does have. And all those criterias, those categories, that's how I view a Final Fantasy. But the main argument that they use is that FF needs to be turn-based. And they are 100% right. It has to be a turn-based game. And I think Sebi, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, explains it perfectly.
Does Call of Duty have to be an FPS? What about GTA? Does it have to be a third-person shooter? Metal Gear Solid, does that have to be a stealth game? I'm not sure.
FF being turn-based is a core identity, and when the producers changed that, it made a lot of fans feel betrayed in a way. When you change a core identity of a game, you have to replace it with something better, and 16 was almost there. I like to think that with mods, it succeeded 100%, but the base game, without the mods, without anything, fell short. But for some reason, I still love the game, and I still would love to re-experience this world again, because when I was sitting down and playing it, it really felt like a fantasy. So yeah, that's my take on one of my favorite games of all time. If you disagree, then GG, I don't know what to say. Thanks for watching.